Celebrating 48 years of innovative design. From the iconic to the up-and-coming, design is the heart of our business. Copenhagen, Phoenix, Scottsdale, Tempe.
Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University. Watch sneak previews of what's coming soon. Go to azpbs.org/previews today.
If you are 60 or over, consider a charitable gift annuity with Arizona PBS. A charitable gift annuity will provide you a steady stream of income during your lifetime and also help ensure that Arizona PBS is available for future generations.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World.
Michael Crow here, President, Arizona State University. I just want to say thank you to all of our PBS viewers. You all are taking the time to keep yourself up to date. You're taking the time to keep yourself active in learning. You're using the network and the university as a learning platform to advance your family. I think that's the way that everything's going to be moving in the future, and so we're really excited, and I just want to say thank you for watching Arizona PBS.
Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Hospice of the Valley, medical, social, and spiritual care for patients nearing end of life, and support for their families. A not-for-profit community hospice, HOV.org.
From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
2 bills for more classroom money speed through the Arizona legislature just one day after the Red for Ed teachers rally for funding and raises.
Plus, an inside look at how young Arizonans are learning to become political activists in their community.
And we talk one-on-one with former Mexico President Vicente Fox, what he has to say about trade and American leadership.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Gabriel Gamino.
And I'm Nicole Costantino. Thank you for joining us.
The Arizona legislature sped through votes today, hoping to funnel more cash to classrooms. Both chambers advanced an extension of Prop 301, a day after teachers flooded the Capitol asking for more funding and higher pay. The 0.6% tax voters approved in Prop 301 was due to expire in 2021. Earlier this morning, Senate Education Committee fast-tracked SB 1390 to extend the tax through the year 2041. The majority of the money raised by the tax goes to what's called the Classroom Site Fund. That money can be used for teacher pay raises. One superintendent spoke to the committee to stress the importance of this funding.
I think a message sent that describes the importance of Proposition 301 and the fact that we're going to extend this, depending on the amendment, at least for 20 years, would send a very powerful message to our teachers that they do matter and that they do care. The notion of letting teachers know how important they are and what they do is really, really critical.
The Senate bill and its House version, HB 2158, both have broad support from organizations like Save Our Schools Arizona and Arizona Teachers United. But already one liberal activist group says this measure is too little, too late, and only keeps Arizona education funding at the status quo. Progress Now Arizona released this statement saying, quote, "The fact that Prop 301 is being renewed by legislators instead of voters introduces new dangers. The Arizona legislature can't be trusted to do what's right by our schools. Because Prop 301 will no longer be voter protected in the coming years, legislators are likely to manipulate Prop 301 to fund it, to serve their own political goals."
The presidents of Arizona's 3 major universities released their tuition and fee proposals for the upcoming school year. There are no tuition increases for those currently attending NAU, U of A, or ASU. But there is a $150 athletic fee increase at Northern Arizona University and a $30 health and wellness fee increase at Arizona State. For new in-state undergraduate students at NAU and U of A, tuition is going to increase almost 2% to just over $12,000 per year. For ASU, there is no tuition increase. All Arizona universities have proposed increases for non-resident and international students, including program fee costs.
College is often thought of as a stepping stone to landing that first job, but according to a recent poll, 83% of Americans say they can't afford a college. Reporter Megan Meyer explores one program in the Valley that aims to provide young adults with the resources they need to get that degree. Megan?
With the projected increase of tuition at Arizona universities, young adults are beginning to explore other options that will allow them to obtain a solid foundation for their future careers.
So I'm going to continue on to go to college and get it a bachelor's in cybersecurity and network security. And then after that, my long-term goal is to open up my own cybersecurity company.
So to achieve that goal, Shatara Smith chose to enroll in the Year Up program through Gateway Community College. The one-year intensive program offers training and technical services and places students in internships, allowing them to save up the funds to obtain their college degree.
No one else looked at inner city youth and said, I'm going to give them a chance. I see a potential. No one else came and thought, these kids deserve to be in these companies and making a good salary and figure.
Recent data has shown that only 52% of public Arizona high school graduates go on to attend college. The Year Up program here at Gateway Community College is helping to increase this rate by providing a less traditional route for students.
We're so grateful for many of our corporate partners who host our interns and who hire our graduates because they, for the most part, offer tuition reimbursement for the young adults. So it makes attending college after our program a little bit more affordable.
It's a different experience being inner city than it is out in the north or in high income areas, and they recognize that, so they really try to relate with us and really support us, and that's something I appreciate so much.
Smith is 2 months into the program, but is already setting her sights on an internship and eventually getting her bachelor's degree. The Year Up program says that upon program completion, 91% of their students go on to work or attend school full-time. In the Media Center, Megan Meyer, Cronkite News.
The student activists who planned a march for gun reform this weekend have reached out to Governor Doug Ducey, offering him a speaker position at the rally. The teens organized a sit-in at Ducey's office last week, accusing the governor of avoiding their attempts to have a dialogue about reform. Thousands are expected at the state capitol for the march this weekend.
A group of Valley community members, including many high schoolers, met earlier this week to learn how to become activists for causes they believe in. They shared personal stories describing what motivated them to spark a change. Cronkite News reporter Alexis Burdine was there.
I'm here to get involved.
I was exposed to a lot of sexism.
Inside the Mesa Public Library Tuesday, participants came together for one cause: equality. The activist training meeting, put together by the Young Progressives of Arizona, was born after students at Westwood High School's Latino Club and Mountain View High School's Young Democrats Club realized they have much more in common than just their age.
We got in touch and realized that we're both, being politically active at our schools, and decided that we should do something more.
Harb says coming from a culturally mixed family, being gay, and living in different socioeconomic levels motivated him to become an activist. And he's not alone. Brenda Alvarez, a student activist among the group, shared how the uncertainty of immigration reform has impacted her and her family. She moved to Mexico City with her family when she was 11 years old, leaving the U.S. out of fear due to their undocumented status. But unlike them, she's a U.S. citizen.
I thought I would be more accepted because there was more people that looked like me, and it was like the total opposite.
So she decided to move back to Arizona.
I had bigger aspirations and goals to meet. I wanted a better education.
But that education came at a cost, leaving her family behind in Mexico. Still, she continues to fight.
Maybe in the future we can actually have something that actually leads a pathway to citizenship.
In Mesa, Alexis Burdine, Cronkite News.
Harb said the group plans to meet at the library once a month to continue improving and strategizing their activism methods.
The $1.3 trillion federal budget is now approved by the U.S. House of Representatives. However, another government shutdown looms as the Senate makes their decision. The new agreement will distribute funds for domestic and military programs through the end of the fiscal year this September. President Donald Trump has moved forward on imposing tariffs on Chinese goods. Trump signed an order today that is meant to punish Beijing for stealing American technology. Trump said the U.S. and China have the largest trade deficit of any country.
But we have a trade deficit, depending on the way you calculate, of $504 billion. Now, some people would say it's really $375 billion.
The markets did not respond well to Trump's tariff plan, though. The Dow Jones dropped 723 points today. That's nearly a 3% loss in value.
The former president of Mexico, Vicente Fox, is in the Valley talking trade and business opportunities. He had some strong words about President Trump's leadership and policies when he sat down for a one-on-one interview with Cronkite News reporter Lillian Donahue.
You mentioned a little bit about bridging, right? The relationship between the United States and Mexico. We're kind of at an all-time tense period between the countries. In your words, how do you feel that we can bridge that relationship with the United States and Mexico?
Well, I feel sorry. I feel sad what is going on here in the United States. This mess about porno scandals, sex scandals, building walls, ideas of canceling NAFTA, which has been the most incredible economic tool to develop our economies, both the United States and Mexico. So we don't know what to think. This leadership is not what it used to be, the compassive, great leadership of presidents of the United States and the leadership of this nation throughout the world. Now everybody is surprised, is impacted, and we just don't believe what is going on, and we don't really think what we should do on this situation.
You have some harsh words for the President of the United States, but why do you have this critique of President Trump?
It's not the person, it's his policies. It's wrong policies. I worry about the United States. Half of what you see here is American blood. My grandfather was born here. I love this nation. I respect this nation. And I feel bad that it's in the hands of Trump right now. I mean, he's a false prophet. He will take this nation to the desert, to the nowhere. He doesn't know what to propose. His ideas are building a wall. His ideas are canceling trade agreements. His ideas are bringing back carbon jobs. His ideas are else and else, and not one that really is sound. Even tax reduction. It's good, it's easy to do, but where is he going to get the money to invest in this nation, to invest in the schools, to invest in universities, to invest in technology, to invest in the future? I mean, it's very irresponsible for a government to come in and say, okay, I'm going to drop taxes down so that everybody's happy with me. That's stupid. I mean, you have to be responsible government. You have to make sure that you will take this nation and lead this nation to a strong future.
Fox was in the Valley to talk about growing the cannabis industry in Sonora and Arizona. As the gun debate continues, people in Arizona are wondering how they can keep themselves safe.
Coming up on Cronkite News, how Chandler police are working with communities in the Valley to better prepare for unexpected crimes.
And wrong-way driving accidents have increased so far this year, how the Arizona Department of Transportation is working to prevent more fatalities.
I'm Judy Woodruff, anchor and managing editor of the PBS NewsHour. The journalists of tomorrow face a fast-changing media landscape, but quality news remains vitally important to our communities, our country, and our world. At ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, students learn solid, reliable reporting, holding the powerful accountable, and rebuilding the public's trust. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
Residents were given the opportunity to talk with Chandler Police Department about crimes in their city, including possible school shootings. Reporter Sydney Eisenberg was there to see how Chandler PD plans on handling school safety.
I don't carry it with me all the time. I carry it when my wife and I are going to be out after midnight and stuff like this. Other than that, it sits home on my Bible, praying it don't have to get used.
Arthur Wigman was trained by Phoenix police officers in order to earn his concealed carry license. Even with the training, he is nervous to use it. So when the question about arming teachers came up during a citizen safety forum, Wigman was against it.
You just can't arm your teachers.
Wigman is not alone in feeling uneasy about arming teachers. Chandler Chief of Police Sean Duggan says the training officers receive is different than the training citizens receive, and for the better.
I'm comfortable that our officers have that training. Tactically, they're very sound at using their weapons, but that decision making is a whole different component. And that separates trained police from most other folks in the community. And to put that pressure on a teacher would be very difficult.
According to Chief Duggan, the police department and Chandler Fire Department will be meeting with the school district in the next few weeks to propose safety recommendations. In Chandler, Sydney Eisenberg, Cronkite News.
Residents who attended the training were also able to learn about trending crimes happening in Chandler, including property crimes and scams.
Wrong-way driving is an ongoing issue in Arizona with 6 deaths just so far in 2018, one just a few days ago. I spoke with officials to see how the state is working to prevent more fatalities.
People are aware there's thermal cameras, and I think the public is very interested in knowing that they're safe on the highways.
Just over 6 months ago, the Arizona Department of Transportation installed a first-of-its-kind wrong-way driver detection system on Interstate 17 between Interstate 10 and the Loop 101. The system uses thermal cameras that can detect a wrong-way car. Once detected, ADOT notifies DPS troopers, posts messages on the overhead boards, and sends an alert to drivers nearby on the ADOT Alerts app. Wrong-way crashes have been an ongoing issue in the state. In fact, there have been more crashes and more deaths this year than this time last year without the system. But ADOT spokesman Doug Ninsel says it's about reducing the risk of a potential crash.
It cannot stop someone from being, say, an impaired driver and making that bad decision to get behind the wheel. But what we can do is try to reduce the risk of some of the tragic things we're seeing out there.
The number of crashes and deaths are higher so far in 2018, but so are the number of wrong-way driving arrests and self-correcting drivers.
These are drivers who are entering an off-ramp in the wrong direction, but in almost all these cases, the driver is taking a turn, self-correcting before they become a wrong-way driver on the freeway itself.
Director of the Governor's Office of Highway Safety, Alberto Gutierrez, says despite the higher numbers, he thinks it's preventing more from reaching the road.
And we've seen the number of impaired drivers have been arrested by DPS, which I think is the deterrent.
You have to start somewhere, and that's what we're doing along I-17.
ADOT says they want to see this system across all Valley freeways, but they want a year's worth of research before they decide to expand it.
Federal officials are draining Alamo Lake for maintenance, but the community in the area isn't happy about that. Coming up on Cronkite News, we take an economic look and environmental impact of the maintenance project.
And a little bit of a toasty day today. How long are these warmer temperatures going to be sticking around? Coming up, I've got your 7-day forecast.
I'm Ted Simons, host and managing editor of Arizona Horizon. Join us each weekday at 5:30 and 10 as we bring you the top newsmakers who impact the state. We cover the stories in depth that shape and affect our local communities, and we take the time to ensure that all voices are equally heard. For more than 30 years, Arizona Horizon has been your voice and your source for what matters most, right here on Arizona PBS.
Fridays, it's at Cronkite News, your social sharing connection where you choose the news. Facebook likes and shares, tweets, retweets, and favorites. YouTube views and subscriptions. We're watching you watch us. From our digital home at cronkitenews.azpbs.org to your television, web browser, or mobile device. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Then join us for at Cronkite News, our weekly refresh, each Friday at 5 on Arizona PBS.
As journalists at Cronkite News, we report on stories that matter to you by focusing on the local impact. We dig deeper and work tirelessly to keep you informed.
Live in Wickerburg.
Live in Los Angeles. In Cleveland. In Washington. In Louisville.
From Jerusalem. Live in Philadelphia. From around the world to right here in Phoenix.
At Cronkite News, we report the facts and stick to the truth.
A federal lake maintenance is stirring up controversy in a small community near Alamo Lake. As part of our Access Across Arizona initiative, Cronkite News reporter Abdel Jimenez traveled to the Alamo Lake area to speak to community members and officials about the impact of this maintenance project.
Alamo Lake is a spot to go fishing, but federal maintenance is draining out 10 feet of water. Members in the community are worried the local fish will suffer as the lake levels go down, and so will the local economy.
That killed off a lot of the spawn, which means all those eggs that were laid in the shallows are now sitting on dry ground and they're dead.
Or, who also rents out spaces for visitors on his property, says he's already lost 16 customers. But the Army Corps of Engineers say they can't put off the maintenance project.
It's an exciting thing so we can ensure this dam is able to do what it's intended to do, which is protect the downstream communities.
Now, 10 feet might not seem like a lot, right? But in the span of 2 days, some parts of the lake, like this one, have already been seeing the impact of the maintenance, specifically the boat ramps. The boats are a major source of revenue for the lake. Mark Knapp says drainage is negatively impacting the parks' revenue.
We've had over 1,000 phone calls concerning this, and as we speak, we're still getting phone calls with people canceling reservations for this. So economically, this has cost us 50 grand and rising daily.
Their main concern? The timing of this project.
They gave a bunch of reasons and excuses of why nope, had to be done right now, and it doesn't have to be done.
Or hopes federal officials will look at the long-term consequences the maintenance will have on the fish, which is important to this community. From London, Abdel Jimenez, Cronkite News.
The water that's being drained is headed downstream, traveling as much as 40 miles to Lake Havasu. It's really been warm outside this week, Nicole. How long are the high temperatures going to stick around?
Yeah, so today for our high, we were supposed to hit 89, 90 degrees. We didn't get that far today. We didn't get that high. However, we are still in those higher 80s in the lower parts of our state, and in the high country, we're also in the high 50s and low 60s as well. But those temperatures the high temperatures aren't going to be sticking around much longer. We're seeing some cloud cover across our state currently. That's going to bring some shower chances for the state. You can see up in the northwest corner of our country, they're going to be getting some showers, but down here, just a slight chance. We are going to be seeing those clouds move out by Friday, and we are going to be seeing a system come in and cool down. So finally, it's time to start seeing those warmer temperatures go away. We're not ready for them yet. It's only March. So Friday, we're going to start at our high of 83. We're going to cool down on Sunday to about 74. And as we start our work week, again, we are going to be seeing these temperatures in the low 70s for the middle of next week. But then on Thursday, we might start warming up with a high of 81.
Living in a sustainable community can come with challenges, but one small community is being built with our leftover Super Bowl trash. Coming up, find out how a Valley company is turning trash from the 2015 Phoenix Super Bowl into what they call American Greencrete.
Cronkite News, weeknights at 5 on Arizona PBS.
By the year 2050, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish.
Before Professor Halden, I had an insane amount of passion, but I almost felt helpless because I didn't know how to use it. Professor Halden gave me a chance to make a difference. Being at a place like ASU allows you to take these big leaps. Ultimately, the biggest problems in the world cannot be solved alone.
Third Rail with Ozzy, the new weekly show where we tackle the taboo and debate the tough questions with some of the most interesting minds in the game. I'm Carlos Watson. Electrifying conversation. Friday, only on PBS.
Sport events like the Super Bowl generate more than money. They also create trash. Now that trash is getting a new home. Reporter Micah Bledsoe is in Nipton, California, where a Phoenix-based company is using waste from the 2015 Super Bowl in sustainable ways.
Last summer, this small town in the Mojave Desert was purchased by a cannabis technology company for $5 million. Its goal? To invest in sustainable living and create the first town with zero garbage.
This is the Super Bowl trash. And we put this into a concrete mixture to create what we call American Greencrete.
Stephen Sharon is the general manager of the Nipton project for American Green. He says their Greencrete allows the town to thrive by using its trash.
And that Greencrete is energy absorbent. It doesn't rot, doesn't fall apart. So if you hit it, it bounces instead of crumbling like regular concrete.
With a population of nearly 50 people, American Green plans to revamp the city of Nipton, California, all 120 acres that is, by incorporating a sustainable infrastructure by working with the local community. Sharon says American Green is doing more than just turning waste into concrete.
So what are we doing? Educating, creating a safe, clean environment where people don't feel like littering, creating a zero output waste recycling program, and working within permaculture so we're not wasting water. We're maximally growing with plants that are xeriscape.
San Bernardino County spokesperson David Ward says the small town does need a sustainable plan for its economy.
Nipton is a town that has had a depressed economy, or maybe a zero economy, for quite some time.
Ward says the county encourages sustainable innovation that also complies with the county's law.
Well, in fact, we'd probably encourage it for people who, are interested in making an investment in a community that needs it, and turn it into a place where, a destination where people will come and spend the night.
In Nipton, Micah Bledsoe, Cronkite News.
Though the county encourages sustainable innovation, the San Bernardino County says it wants no part in the marijuana business.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon in the PBS News Hour.
Arizona Horizon, a debate on a bill that would put limits on Arizona's clean election system. And we'll hear from one of the organizers of the local version of this weekend's National March for Gun Control.
I'm Hari Srinivasan on the next News Hour. After Parkland, the father of one of the students killed reflects on the tragedy and the activism it has inspired. That's Thursday on the PBS News Hour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Coming up on Arizona Collectibles.
The detail here is just wonderful. It wouldn't surprise me to find out that this is somebody's long winter's night project.
See, I think I should have it. It's a beautiful piece.
Thursday night at 7:30 on Arizona PBS.
Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
Oh, this is a good one. Is it my birthday?
Now you can access more of your favorite PBS shows than ever before.
You don't mean it.
Yes. Introducing PBS Passport, a new member benefit that lets you binge the latest seasons and catch up on your favorites.
You've made me a happy man.
Anytime you want, anywhere you are.
Unbelievable. Awesome, isn't it?
Support your PBS station and get Passport.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World.
Your favorite PBS shows, ready to watch when you are. Anytime, any place. Find more ways to explore than ever before.
Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
LA's Chicano movement was looking for a powerful voice. Oscar Zeta Acosta was looking for meaning.
He was smart as hell, he was shrewd, he was also a risk taker.
Acosta would become one of his generation's most forceful critics of white supremacy until everything started unraveling around him.
There was such potential in that man, but people weren't ready for him.
A new documentary rescues his dramatic story from obscurity.
Friday night at 8 on Arizona PBS.
My name is Stephen Hawking. Come with me, and I will tell you the story of how I became who I am.
He would spend a lot of time looking at the stars.
Oh, he was great fun. He was eccentric. We were going to defy the disease. We were going to challenge the future.
Here, time stops. You've reached the true beginning of everything.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS. Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Deanne Griebel, now with Moores & Cabot Investments, serving investors since 1890, proudly supports quality programming on 8 Arizona PBS, 480-725-9602.
Friendship Village Tempe, a retirement community for over 30 years, offers independent living with residency options, lifelong learning classes, as well as continuing care. Information at friendshipvillageaz.com.
Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, President Trump targets China with massive tariffs. What could it mean here in Arizona? Also tonight, student organizers are busy planning the March for Our Lives event set for this Saturday. And we'll look at how some schools and churches are preparing for potential shootings. Those stories and more next